Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. Hope y'all had a great day. Algebra, we are still working with factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. This is when you have a coefficient right here and a with that x squared value. And so what we're going to do, the first thing I always want you to look at is I want you to look and see if there's a GCF that you can pull out of this expression. Well, there's not. The numbers you have, 3, 4, and 15, they don't share any common factors except for one. X squared and x, 15 doesn't have an x value with it, so we're not going to have an x there, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to factor it. So the first thing I notice is that I have a plus for my b value and I have a minus for my c, a positive and a negative. Well, I know that the only way that I can get a negative with this third term is I have to multiply a positive times a negative. So I know that I'm going to have a plus minus in the middle there. Then I see that the b term is a positive. Well, that tells me that the positive factor is going to have to be the larger factor because it maintains that positive value. So you keep the sign of the larger value, so this is going to be a positive. So the first thing I want to do, and I know that I'm going to have to subtract them since they're going to be different signs. So 3 times 15, I'm going to find which two factors would give me 4 when I subtract them. 3 times 15 is 45. So if I look at the factors of 45, 1 and 45, well, if I subtract that, that's definitely not going to give me 4. 3 and 15, not going to give me 4. 5 and 9 give me 4. Well, I know that 9 is going to have to be my positive term because that 4 is positive. So it has to keep the sign of the larger middle term, and this is going to be my larger middle term. So next thing I have to do is I have to figure out, I'm going to regroup them, so I have to figure out how I'm going to place them. And your first thought might be, okay, well, I'm going to put the 5 with the 15 and the 9 with the 3 because they go together, and that's fine. You can do it that way. It's going to work out either way. So let's try that. If I do 3x squared plus 9x minus 5x minus 15. Okay? I'm going to regroup them. Okay? And I'm going to look and I'm going to say, okay, well, 3 and 9 have a 3 in common, so I'm going to pull that 3 out. Well, they also have an x in common, so I'm going to pull the x out. Okay. Well, 3x times x would give me 3x squared, so I'm going to put an x right here. 3x times 3 would give me 9x, so I'm going to put a plus 3 right there. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here to this negative 5x, negative 15. Well, they're both negative, so I know I'm going to pull a negative out. And both of them have a negative 5 in it. Well, if I do negative 5 times an x, that's going to give me negative 5x. And if I do negative 5 times 3, that's going to give me negative 15. And so if you look, and you remember from yesterday, we had said what you're looking for is you want this to be the same, and then we can regroup this, and we have our two binomials, 3x minus 5, the quantity 3x minus 5, times the quantity x plus 3. Okay? And that would be that answer in factored form. To check it, 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 3 is 9x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And then negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. This right here would give us 4x. And if you look up here, there's 3x squared, 4x plus 4x minus 15. Okay? All right, let's try another one. 2x squared minus 13x minus 7. Well, 13, 2, and 7 are all prime, so I know that I can't pull a GCF out. And I see that I have a negative and a negative, so I know it's going to be a plus minus in the middle, and my larger term is, or my larger factor is going to go with the negative because it has to keep that sign. So I'm going to do 2 times 7, which is 14. And immediately 1 and 14, if I subtract them, that is going to give me that 13. Okay? So I have 1 and 14. So I'm going to put that 14 with that 7 because I think it's just too big to go with that 2 and that 1 and that 7. So I'm going to do 2x squared minus 1x. Oh, plus 1x because the 14 has to be the minus because it keeps the negative. Minus 14x minus 7. And I'm going to regroup them. Okay? So when I look at them, I can pull an x out. So if I pull that x out, okay, x times 2x would give me 2x squared. X times 1 would give me 1x. So I have x times the quantity 2x plus 1. Then I'm going to look at negative 14x, negative 7. They're both negative, so I'm going to pull out a negative. And I'm going to pull out a negative 7. Well, negative 7 times a positive 2x would give me negative 14x. And negative 7 times a positive 1 would give me a negative 7. And if you notice, there's my identical binomial. So this one would be the quantity x minus 7 times the quantity 2x plus 1. And that would be it in factored form. To check it, x times 2x is 2x squared. X times 1 is x. Negative 7 times 2x is negative 14x. And negative 7 times 1 is negative 7. Combine these two, you get negative 13x. And there we go. 2x squared minus 13x minus 7. That's today's lesson. I hope that y'all had a great day, and I will see y'all back tomorrow to do some more of this. We still have a couple of other things to work through with this ax squared plus bx plus c, or yeah, plus c. Have a good day. Love y'all.